More than 90% of car owners destroy their cars without knowing it. These are the mistakes that shorten the life of your automatic car, and you're probably doing them right now. These small habits you do could be causing more damage than you know. Today, we're exposing 17 stupid mistakes that is slowly killing your automatic car. Just doing one could be a $4,000 repair bill before you know it. Mistake number 17, not checking your oil level regularly. This one is so simple it almost hurts to talk about. Checking your oil takes less than 2 minutes and costs nothing. But most drivers go months, sometimes years, without ever pulling that dipstick. Here's why that's a problem. Oil doesn't just disappear. It burns off slowly, leaks through worn seals, and breaks down over time. By the time your low oil warning light comes on, you may have already been running the engine dangerously low for weeks. And running low oil doesn't just cause wear, it can seize an engine completely. I've seen engines destroyed not because drivers skipped oil changes, but simply because they never topped it off between changes. The fix is free. Pop the hood once a month, pull the dipstick, wipe it clean, reinsert it, and check the level. If it's below the minimum line, add the correct oil immediately. A $5 quart of oil can save you a $4,000 engine replacement. If you think that's bad, this next mistake is about your car's air circulation. Mistake number 16, using the recirculation button incorrectly. That small button with the circular arrow on your dashboard is one of the least understood controls in any car. Most drivers either ignore it completely or leave it in one position all year long, and both are mistakes. Here's how it actually works. In hot weather, pressing recirculation closes off outside air and keeps the already cooled cabin air cycling through the system. Your AC compressor doesn't have to fight against 95-degree air coming in from outside. It works less, cools faster, and lasts longer. Compressor replacements run anywhere from $800 to $1,500 in most US vehicles. All because drivers force the system to work twice as hard for years. But here's the other side of it. Leaving recirculation on in cold or humid conditions is just as bad. It traps moisture inside the cabin, fogs up your windows, and makes your defroster nearly useless. The rule is straightforward. Hot outside, use recirculation. Cold, rainy, or foggy, switch to fresh air. That one button used correctly extends your AC system's life significantly. And if you're ignoring that button, chances are you're ignoring something else on your dashboard too. Mistake number 15, ignoring the check engine light. The check engine light comes on, and most drivers do one of two things. They panic, or they ignore it. Ignoring it is almost always the more expensive choice. That light is connected to dozens of sensors throughout your vehicle. Oxygen sensors, mass airflow sensors, transmission temperature sensors, misfire monitors. Sometimes it really is just a loose gas cap, but other times it's an early warning for a catalytic converter on its way out, a misfire that's about to damage your engine, or a transmission running hotter than it should. According to AAA, ignoring warning lights is one of the leading causes of major breakdowns across the United States. The part that stings the most is this: catching most of these issues early costs a few $100s. Letting them go can turn into several thousand. Most auto parts stores will scan your codes for free. There's no reason to drive blind. Act on the light early and you'll almost always come out ahead. And while we're talking about things drivers overlook every single day, this next mistake is damaging transmissions quietly all over the country. Mistake number 14, not using the parking brake. If you drive an automatic and you've never touched your parking brake, you need to hear this. When you put the car in park and don't engage the parking brake, the entire weight of the vehicle transfers to a tiny metal component inside the transmission called the parking pole. That part is roughly the size of your finger. It was never designed to hold a 2-ton vehicle in place, especially on any kind of slope. Over time, that repeated stress causes the pole to wear down, crack, or fail entirely. And when it fails, the repair isn't cheap. That tiny part often requires a full transmission removal to replace, turning a simple fix into a labor bill well over $1,000. Engaging the parking brake takes the load off that component completely. It takes 1 second. It protects your transmission, and it keeps your car safely in place. Start using it every single time you park. And if you think that's a small habit, making a big difference, wait until you hear how badly this next one is hurting your visibility and your safety. Mistake number 13. Not replacing worn wiper blades. This one doesn't get talked about enough because it feels minor. Right up until you're driving in a heavy rainstorm at 65 miles an hour and your wipers are smearing more than they're clearing. Wiper blades are made of rubber, and rubber degrades. Sun exposure, heat, ice, and general wear break down the blade edge over time. Most drivers wait until the wipers are completely falling apart before replacing them. By then, they've already been driving with compromised visibility for months. Streaking, skipping, and chattering are all signs the blades are past their prime. In most parts of the US, wipers should be replaced every 6 to 12 months, depending on your climate. Desert heat destroys them faster. Winter ice tears at the rubber edge every time you use them. A fresh set of quality wiper blades costs between $20 and $40 and takes 5 minutes to install. That's one of the cheapest safety upgrades you can make to any vehicle. And while we're on the subject of damage that comes from the outside in, this next mistake can do thousands of dollars of harm in just a few minutes. Mistake number 12, pressure washing your engine bay. A clean engine bay looks impressive. And that's exactly why so many people make this mistake. They grab a pressure washer, point it at everything under the hood, and end up destroying sensors, wiring harnesses, fuse boxes, and connectors they didn't even know existed. Modern engines are loaded with electronics. Alternators, sensors, ignition coils, and control modules are not designed to handle a direct blast of high-pressure water. Moisture works its way into connectors and causes corrosion. It short-circuits sensors. It can even hydrolock an engine if water gets pulled into the air intake. I've seen drivers cause over $2,000 in electrical damage trying to make their engine look cleaner. If you want to clean under the hood, use a degreaser spray on the dirty spots and wipe it off. For anything stubborn, a can of brake cleaner does the job and evaporates completely without leaving moisture behind. Keep high-pressure water away from your engine bay entirely. And speaking of water causing serious damage to your car, this next mistake is one of the most underestimated on this entire list. If you've made it this far, you're clearly someone who takes care of their vehicle. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Mistake number 11, driving through deep water. It looks like just a big puddle. Drivers do it every day, and it quietly destroys transmissions, engines, and electrical systems with almost no warning. Here's what most people don't realize. Automatic transmissions have vents designed to release internal pressure buildup. On most passenger vehicles, those vents sit low on the transmission case. Drive through water that's deep enough, and those vents suck water directly into the transmission. Once water mixes with transmission fluid, the fluid turns milky and loses every bit of its lubricating ability. Water also breaks down the bonding compound that holds clutch packs together. Once that starts, slipping is almost guaranteed, and draining the fluid won't reverse the damage that's already been done. On the engine side, deep water can be sucked through the air intake in a split second, causing a hydrolocked engine. Connecting rods bend, pistons crack. The repair on that alone can exceed $5,000. Unless you're in a vehicle specifically built for water crossings, avoid it completely. No shortcut is worth that repair bill. And if water can sneak into your transmission through a vent, imagine what happens when a simple reset gets skipped on your electrical system. Mistake number 10, skipping the battery reset after replacement. Most drivers think replacing a battery is as simple as swapping it out and reconnecting the cables. On older vehicles, that was true. On most modern cars, it's not even close. Today's vehicles use battery management systems that actively track the age, charge capacity, and health of the battery over time. When you install a new battery without resetting that system, the computer keeps treating it like the old worn-out one. It charges it too aggressively, overworks it, and in many cases, destroys a brand new battery within a year. BMWs, Mercedes, many GM products, and a growing number of mainstream vehicles all require a scan tool reset after battery replacement. Skipping that step doesn't just waste the cost of the battery, it sets you up for a cycle of premature failures that keeps costing you money. If you're replacing your own battery, call ahead to a shop and ask if your vehicle requires a BMS reset. It's usually a quick and inexpensive procedure, but skipping it is never free. And while we're talking about things connected to your fuel and ignition system, this next mistake is one almost every driver has made at least once. Mistake number 9, leaving the gas cap loose. It sounds almost too simple to matter. But a loose or missing gas cap is one of the most common triggers for a check engine light across the entire country. The fuel system on modern vehicles is a sealed, pressurized environment. That gas cap is part of an evaporative emissions system that prevents fuel vapors from escaping into the atmosphere. When the cap is loose or missing, the system detects a pressure leak and throws a code. Now your check engine light is on. You're at the shop spending money on a diagnostic, and the answer is a gas cap. But here's what makes it worse. Beyond the check engine light, a loose cap allows fuel vapors to escape constantly. Over time, that means reduced fuel economy and unnecessary exposure to harmful fumes every time you open the fuel door. Some drivers have gone weeks with a loose cap, paid for a full diagnostic, and walked out embarrassed. Always click the cap until you hear it seep. It costs nothing and takes 1 second. And while loose connections cause problems you can see on the dashboard, this next mistake causes damage you can't see at all, happening slowly every single time you drive. Mistake number 8, resting your hand on the gear shifter. This one is almost universal. Drivers rest their hand on the shifter the same way they'd rest it on an armrest. It feels natural, it feels comfortable, and it's destroying the transmission. Here's what's happening inside. The gear shifter is directly connected to the transmission's selector mechanism. Even light, consistent pressure from your hand pushes against that mechanism. Over time, it causes premature wear on the shift forks and selector components inside the gearbox. On manual transmissions, this is especially damaging because the shift fork is in constant contact with the synchronizer collar. Wear those out and you're looking at a transmission rebuild. On automatics, the repeated pressure stresses the detent mechanism that holds gears in place. The fix is completely free. Rest your hand on your thigh, on the steering wheel, or on the center console. Anywhere except the shifter. It's a habit that takes a week to break and could save you thousands. And while we're talking about things hiding inside your car that quietly cost you money, this next one is one of the most overlooked maintenance items on any vehicle. Mistake number 7, not replacing the cabin air filter. Most drivers don't even know their car has one. The cabin air filter sits behind your glove box or under the dashboard and filters every single bit of air that comes through your vents. Dust, pollen, exhaust particles, mold spores. When it gets clogged, and they do get clogged, airflow through your HVAC system drops significantly. Your AC has to work harder to push air through a blocked filter. Your heater takes longer to warm the cabin, and your defroster becomes sluggish at exactly the moment you need it most. On top of that, a saturated cabin filter becomes a breeding ground for mold and bacteria that then gets blown directly into the cabin every time you run the fan. Most cabin filters need to be replaced every 15,000 to 25,000 miles depending on your environment. If you live in a dusty or high pollen area, replace it sooner. The filter itself usually costs between $15 and $30, and most can be swapped in under 10 minutes without any tools. It protects your HVAC system, improves air quality, and keeps your AC running efficiently. And if a clogged filter can stress a system that much, imagine what carrying unnecessary extra weight does to every system on your car at the same time. Mistake number 6, overloading the vehicle. Every vehicle has a load rating, a maximum combined weight of passengers and cargo it was designed to handle safely. Most drivers have never looked at that number once. Consistently overloading your car stresses components across the entire vehicle simultaneously. Suspension components deflect beyond their designed range, causing premature wear on shocks, struts, springs, and control arm bushings. Brake systems have to absorb more momentum every single time you stop, wearing pads and rotors significantly faster. Tires carry excess pressure that leads to sidewall damage, irregular wear, and blowouts, especially in hot weather when tire pressure is already elevated. On top of that, the drivetrain and transmission handle increased load with every acceleration and every hill. I've seen suspension components fail at under 60,000 miles on vehicles that were routinely overloaded. Check your owner's manual for your vehicle's payload rating and take it seriously. The weight limits aren't suggestions, they're engineering boundaries. And speaking of stress on systems that most drivers never think about, this next habit is cooking transmissions in parking lots and driveways all across the country every single day. Mistake number 5, leaving the car in drive at long stops. Sitting in drive at a red light feels like nothing. Inside the transmission, it's a different story. Even when the car isn't moving, the torque converter is still working. Fluid is being sheared internally, generating heat that builds up over time, especially in stop-and-go traffic on a hot day. Temperatures inside the transmission can climb 40 to 50 degrees in just a few minutes of sitting in drive. And heat is the single biggest killer of automatic transmissions in the United States. Not mileage, not age, heat. Transmission fluid starts losing its effectiveness above 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Above 240 degrees, seals harden, clutch packs glaze, and internal components begin to warp. At long stops, train crossings, long red lights, drive-through lines, shifting into neutral reduces the load on the torque converter, lowers operating temperature, and extends the life of the fluid and internal components. It's a small habit that makes a measurable difference over the life of the vehicle. And if heat can do that much damage at a standstill, imagine what happens when you demand full power from a system that's still cold. Mistake number 4, revving a cold engine. Every winter morning across the country, drivers start their cars and immediately push the throttle like they're late for something important. That single habit is one of the fastest ways to shorten an engine's life. When the engine is cold, oil is thick and hasn't fully circulated to critical components. Camshafts, bearings, pistons, and valve train parts are starting up dry or near dry. Revving hard at that moment forces those components to operate under full stress with almost no lubrication. The same applies to transmission fluid, which thickens overnight in cold weather and takes time to reach every valve and clutch pack inside the gearbox. I've seen camshaft damage and bearing wear develop within months from repeated cold revving, repairs that ran close to $5,000. The correct approach is straightforward. Start the engine, let it idle for 30 to 60 seconds, then drive gently for the first few miles. Once the temperature gauge begins to move, the fluids are circulating, and the car is ready to be driven normally. Treat those first few minutes right, and your engine and transmission will last significantly longer. And if temperature plays that bigger role in protecting your drivetrain, it plays an equally important role in what's happening at every single corner of your car. Mistake number 3, not using the correct tire pressure. Tire pressure is one of those things most drivers only think about when a light comes on. By then, the damage is already happening. Underinflated tires flex more than they're designed to, generating excess heat in the sidewalls. That heat degrades the rubber compounds from the inside out, shortens tire life, increases rolling resistance, and raises fuel consumption. In hot weather, an underinflated tire is significantly more likely to blow out at highway speeds. Overinflation is just as problematic. Too much pressure reduces the contact patch between the tire and the road. The center of the tread wears down faster, handling becomes unpredictable, and the ride becomes harsh enough to stress suspension components over time. The correct pressure for your vehicle is on the sticker inside the driver's door jamb, not on the sidewall of the tire. Always check pressure when the tires are cold before you've driven more than a mile. A quality tire gauge costs under $10 and gives you accurate readings every time. Proper pressure gives you the best fuel economy, the longest tread life, and the safest handling your tires are capable of. And while the wrong pressure wastes money at the tire shop, this next mistake wastes money every single time you stop at the pump. Mistake number 2, using high-octane fuel when your engine doesn't need it. Premium fuel has a reputation. Drivers assume that if regular is good, premium must be better. Better combustion, better performance, better for the engine. That's not how it works. Octane rating is a measure of a fuel's resistance to pre-ignition, also called knock or ping. High-performance engines with high compression ratios require premium fuel because they need that resistance to function correctly. Regular engines are calibrated and tuned specifically for regular fuel. Putting premium in a regular engine doesn't produce more power, better mileage, or cleaner combustion. It produces nothing extra at all. You're simply paying anywhere from 30 to 60 cents more per gallon for zero benefit. Over the course of a year, that adds up to hundreds of dollars completely wasted. Your owner's manual will tell you exactly what grade of fuel your engine requires. If it says regular, use regular. If it says premium recommended, you have some flexibility. If it says premium required, don't skip it. Match the fuel to the engine and keep the extra money in your pocket. One quick way to check is to look at the fuel door itself. Many manufacturers print the required fuel grade right there as a reminder every time you fill up. Modern engines with NOx sensors can adjust timing when lower octane fuel is used in a premium required vehicle. But that adaptation comes at the cost of reduced power and efficiency, which defeats the purpose entirely. If you drive a flex fuel vehicle, the same principle applies. Use what the system is designed for, not what sounds more impressive at the pump. Switching to regular fuel immediately after years of using premium won't damage a regular engine. But if you've been paying premium prices on a regular engine for years, you've already lost that money with nothing to show for it. And finally, the most overlooked mistake on this entire list, one that costs nothing to fix and almost nobody does consistently. Mistake number 1, not checking battery terminals for corrosion. Battery terminals are one of the most neglected components on any vehicle. Over time, the chemical reaction between the battery acid and the metal terminals produces a white or bluish-green buildup on the posts and connectors. Most drivers never look at them until the car won't start. Here's what that corrosion is actually doing. It acts as a resistor between the battery and the electrical system. The more buildup there is, the harder the battery has to work to push power through that connection. Starting becomes sluggish. Charging becomes inconsistent. Sensitive electronics receive unstable voltage. And eventually, the connection fails at the worst possible moment, usually when it's cold, when you're running late, or both. Corroded terminals are also one of the leading causes of false battery diagnoses. Drivers replace a perfectly good battery because they never cleaned the terminals, causing the problem in the first place. Cleaning them takes 5 minutes. A wire brush and a mixture of baking soda and water will dissolve the buildup completely. A can of terminal protector spray costs a few dollars and prevents corrosion from returning for months. Check your terminals every time you check your oil. It's free, it's fast, and it keeps your entire electrical system running the way it should. How many are you doing? Drop a comment below and let me know which one shocked you the most. If this video just saved you from expensive mechanic visits, hit that subscribe button for more money-saving automotive content that gets straight to the point. Your wallet will thank you. Now there are car tricks that can allow you to save hundreds of dollars easily. Kindly click this video. Trust me, you'll be amazed at what you find.